Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Sunday, November 2nd. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith with you, ready to break down the Sunday NHL card. 5 games on tap. We'll look back at yesterday. And yes, for many folks north of the border on this Sunday, it's all over but the crying. As far as the Toronto Blue Jays are concerned, what a heartbreaking, gut-wrenching, devastating loss in World Series Game 7 last night. Million chances to win that game and wrap up the title. Could not find a way to get that lead in the extra innings. Of course, they saw the lead dissipate with the home run in the 9th. Just a brutal way to end what was a magical run for the Toronto Blue Jays. But congrats to the LA Dodgers, back-to-back World Series champions. And like I said, even though we're a hockey show, I did want to acknowledge how great that baseball game was again last night and how really awesome that series. That series delivered 3 of the more thrilling, intense World Series games in recent memory. The 18-inning marathon in Game 3, and then I thought Game 6 and Game 7 were both outstanding games that were tense start to finish. Great baseball. If you like baseball, you couldn't have gotten much more out of that World Series than you did. So congratulations to the LA Dodgers. And yeah, a little bit of a somber mood for many people here, Alex, north of the border today.
Yeah, and completely understandable. If you are a sports fan, and I know we have this is a hockey show, and we love our hockey to death, and we talk shit about basketball and other sports sometimes, but that was just quality sports entertainment last night. And like you said, this whole series, that's somebody who's been kind of out of touch with baseball the last couple of years. That's something to remind me why the game is as great as it is, and seeing just an absolute display of just putting your heart on the line for both teams, just giving it everything you got. Having a guy who pitched 98 pitches in the game before the night before come back and be on the mound and dominate.
Game 7, Yamamoto, what to say, absolute beast-like effort.
Yeah, in a time where pitchers are scared to go past 6 innings in a regular season game, and here he is dealing back-to-back nights like that. That's just, if you're a fan of sports, it's moments like that, it's games like that, the reason why.
All right, let's recap NHL. Saturday, 2-1 Boston. There was NHL hockey going on, obviously, even though there was a lot going on. World Series.
They were distracted too at times with the games.
It was hard for me to focus on the hockey. That's how good the World Series was. Now, look, on a day where it's even, I'll take a Stanley Cup final game over a World Series game any day of the week. I'll take a regular season hockey game over a regular season baseball game any of the week. But we're talking about a regular season game in the NHL, regular season night on November the 1st against Game 7 of the World Series, and a Game 7 that was absolutely phenomenal. So that's why, for one night, the eyes deviated for me more toward baseball than they did toward hockey. But still, we had the hockey on all the screens. We had college football, too. I make sure I watched a lot of that. So it was a crazy busy viewing day, not just betting day. Boston 2-1 over Carolina. Kind of got off the day to a sour note with the game staying under, but, early start, and sometimes that can happen. But Bruins get the 2-1 win. Both teams had first period over streaks snapped in that game, but the Bruins get a nice win, 2-1 over the Carolina Hurricanes. It's a pretty solid performance in net, too, from Jeremy Swayman. Big-time bounce back after he got shelled by the Ottawa Senators in his start before that. Winnipeg 5-2 against Pittsburgh. I'm not going to complain about losing the Pittsburgh bet. It was probably one of my smallest bets on the card yesterday. Knew what I was getting into. Great job, Winnipeg, getting a 5-2 win there. Calgary, disappointing. They got behind 3-0. Dustin Wolf got the hook early in the game, and Devin Cooley came in for the Calgary Flames. And yes, they made it interesting, got it to 3-2, but the Flames losing ways continue, and they go down 4-2 to Nashville. And now they got to play on a back-to-back, which we'll get to, against Philadelphia tonight. So it doesn't get any easier for the slumping, struggling, can't get out of their way Calgary Flames right now. San Jose, what a win for them. 3-2 in overtime. And I know Philip Kurashev's resurgence here is haunting Alex a little bit. I mean, what is happening here with Philip Kurashev has been pretty remarkable here with the San Jose Sharks. Look, sometimes change of scenery helps. And he's, what can you say, 2 goals again yesterday. He's been tremendous the last few games, the overtime winner. What a win for San Jose. And that's now back-to-back home wins for them against good teams, New Jersey and Colorado in back-to-back. So great job by the Sharks getting a 3-2 win there in overtime. They're going to be a very feisty team, and you're going to have to come to beat them. And even in the games they've lost this year, San Jose, they've been competitive in a bunch of them. They could have more wins if they got some of these close games to go their way. Remember that game they blew it too early in the season at home against Vegas? That's just one of many examples. Like, they are a better team than their record currently indicates, the San Jose Sharks. If they could just get some more consistency on the back end in their goaltending, which was very good yesterday, give Nedeljkovic credit. It was one of his better games. That's going to be a tough team to beat this year with all that young talent. Florida with a 4-3 shootout win against Dallas yesterday. They got the job done in that one. Not easy. Dallas kept coming back, and they were up 2-0. Dallas tied it. Florida ended up getting it, and they ended up getting a 3-2 lead. Dallas got it to overtime, and then eventually a shootout, but the Panthers get the 4-3 win there. I guess Minnesota was eventually going to win a game, and they did yesterday, 5-2 against Vancouver. Vancouver's very banged up, so it was more so I just wanted to fade Minnesota at that price. I fully acknowledged on the show yesterday that certainly Vancouver was vulnerable with all the injuries that they're dealing with right now, but credit to the Wild. They needed the win in the worst way, like a human being needs oxygen to breathe, and Minnesota's able to get it 5-2 yesterday in that one. The rest of the games, more struggles for St. Louis. I mean, it's just the tailspin continues. 3-2 Blue Jackets. They get the job done. We only cashed one leg of the old. That was a weird game where everything I bet in the first period hit. St. Louis to get a goal. I mentioned both teams to score first period. St. Louis, Columbus, and the first period over. The full game does not get there with the total, but still pretty good result overall. 3-2 Columbus. The Toronto Maple Leafs, 5-2 against Philadelphia. I guess the moment we saw the Leafs win, we should have known the Jays were going to lose Game 7 later in the night. Sometimes that's the way it works. Can't have two sports teams from the same city win on the same night. But a nice win for the Leafs. They needed it. Very, very solid, workmanlike road effort. Much better game from Stolarz. I think that was one of Anthony Stolar's better games in a while. And a very, very scary moment with Mishkov hitting Tanev, knocked out cold, face down on the ice, had to be carried off on a stretcher. And they just got him back. And look at the impact he made. They had their best defensive game in a while with Tanev back last night, and now carted off on a stretcher, and who knows how long he's going to be out again now for the Toronto Maple Leafs. But more importantly, we wish him all the best. And I know, Alex, you watched that incident live and saw it live. Very, very scary moment there.
Yeah, I was flipping, and ironically enough, between baseball and hockey. And so when I flipped back, and I immediately tweeted, because I said there's got to be a wealth of Jays fans who are Leafs fans that hadn't seen this, and you flip back and you see all of a sudden, and that's what was flooding, is what happened with Chris Tanev. He's on a stretcher, and then you see the play happen, and it looked like it was just a very kind of casual bump. There's been harder hits, and you see Tanev just kind of skate backwards into Michkov. Michkov looked like he just kind of just bumps him to just get out of the way. Nothing malicious or intentional or anything, and then Tanev just falls face first. And it's just horrifying to see a player, you know how players know how to brace themselves in this game and at this level. When you see a guy just fall as if he was dropped from the stands, it's bone chilling. And thankfully there was movement. He was moving his hands when he was stretchered off. He had movement in his limbs after it and so forth. But that's just tough to see in a guy who's had concussion issues as well. He's got to really, sit and think, him and his family and the front office, his agent, everybody, they have to sit and think about what he's got to do for himself personally for the rest of his career. That'd be very unfortunate if this is something that ends up, cutting his career short. But he has to look at, his life. There's more than the game of hockey. And when you have moments like that, that's when it really kind of, wakes you up and reminds you of it.
And by the way, in the win, the Cowboy, as they call him in the dressing room, his nickname they've given him, the Cowboy, Easton Cowan, gets his first NHL goal last night in the victory. So congratulations to him there as well. Buffalo, how about the Sabres? How about me betting on the Sabres and them getting it done for me? How about that?
Yeah.
And after a brutal start, they couldn't have started the game worse. They're down 2-0 first 5 minutes before you could even take your seat, at KeyBank Center. And Strome playing surprised me. I was not expecting that, but he was in the lineup. He got the first goal, but 3 unanswered goals for Buffalo in that game. Milano ties it late in the final minute actually it was the final minute of the second period. He tied it. There was no scoring in the third. Game goes to a shootout, and the Sabres get the job done 4-3. Little reasons for optimism. Let's not go crazy. Let's not go overboard. Let's not start saying Sabres are going to be playoff bound, but at least we're seeing them steady the ship here. And they've been a nice run at home for them too. Like, they played some good hockey lately now on home ice, and that was a great win against a Washington team that lost the night before. 4-3 Buffalo. They continue their dominance against Washington at home. Washington can't buy a win in Buffalo. And once again, the Sabres get it done over them. First of 2 best bets for me cashed with Montreal, Ottawa over 6.5. Credit the Habs, man, off a road trip back home. They had the lead, they lost it, but they found a way. This is a very gutsy team, great team, young team, skill up and down the lineup, but we're finding out they got some guts, and that was a great gutted out win for Montreal. 4-3 for them. They get the job done. Alex Newhook, the game-winning goal in overtime, and definitely I think Montembeault steps forward for him a little bit better, but more importantly, the 4-3 win for Montreal in that game. The New Jersey Devils, the second best bet, 4-1 win over the LA Kings. That was a focus team. Now, look, they did get outshot, but Jacob Markstrom was good. I thought still the defensive game there was a lot of shots. Some of them weren't always high danger. Markstrom was really good, obviously, for the New Jersey Devils. Give him credit, because we know his first start back from injury against Colorado was a rough one. Much better from Jacob Markstrom last night, and a nice road win for the Devils, 4-1 against the LA Kings after getting kind of reprimanded by Sheldon Keefe after the back-to-back road losses to the Avs and the Sharks. They bounced back and got the win there. So nice to cash a 2-0 sweep with best bets on the show yesterday. 3-2 Rangers in overtime, and John Massey said it in our chat. That was one of the best games the Rangers have played, most complete games this year. They deserved the win. They deserved the 2 points. They outshot the Kraken 27-13. They played a very tidy, responsible defensive game, and they were able to get the job done with a 3-2 overtime win. Will Cooley rips it home in overtime to give the Rangers the win. And Edmonton, 3-2 overtime win against Chicago. We cashed the +1.5 with Chicago, a little sprinkle on the draw. And the big hit in that game for Alex, Evan Bouchard, game-winning goal in overtime at +125-1, we'll call it. 125-1. And that play, he didn't mention it on the show. It was on Patreon only as part of the card. So it was like, It's the reason why you should be a Patreon member. There's going to be instances where we add something late, or there's maybe something that we forget to mention on the show, but it's going to be there, posted each on the Patreon card. So again, it was posted there on the Patreon card, that incredible winner with Evan Bouchard to score the game-winning goal for Edmonton at 125-1. So Alex, hats off to you on that. And like I said on the group chat, about as happy as you'll ever be about a Chicago Blackhawks loss.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Especially with that game going the way that it did. The Hawks, hung in momentum that whole contest, and we said it. We felt like the way that they've been playing, combined with the way that Edmonton, Edmonton, takes teams for granted at home sometimes. Let teams kind of hang around, and it felt like that was going to be one of those games that would just kind of go into overtime. And sure enough, it did. It was not much pace and push in that late in that third period. They coasted and took the point, so we cashed with that draw. And then Bouchard, and it's funny, I don't know about you, Ian, but when you bet goal scorer props at any point of a game, you kind of almost envision how a player would score. And for me, I envisioned exactly how Evan Bouchard scored the game-winning goal last night, because when you see Edmonton play in overtime, they crash the net with their 2 forwards, and it's usually Bouchard, who's that defenseman, cleaning up the garbage in the back of the play. And that's exactly what happened. Everybody crashed the front of the net. Spencer Knight goes down on his stomach, and it's Bouchard flipping it over him right in for the winner. And so it's just wonderful to see when you have those visions happen, and then all of a sudden you're able to cash or play with that. It's absolutely fantastic. But it's funny seeing how in that game and LA and New Jersey, which of course will be played at Crypto.com Arena, the crowds bouncing along with the baseball that's going on. Connor McDavid made the comment afterwards saying, it was strange. He says, I found myself, I'm looking up on the bench, but I'm watching the Jays game. And then I'm on the ice and nothing's happening, but everybody in the crowd cheering. The Kings are down 3-1 and the Devils on a 2-on-1, and the crowd's cheering because the Dodgers just tied the game up. So it made for interesting, bizarre situations, and we talked about that, how that maybe that affects the teams, the players, because that's not normal. You you go through your regular routine in the season, when the crowd gets up and gets down. If something goes on in the crowd, it naturally piques your interest, and you could see the players how they were playing and how they were shifting at the point of when that game was in extra innings with the Hawks and Oilers specifically. There wasn't much going on. And it seemed like they were visibly distracted at times, and you saw where they were dropping the puck and had to have a couple of face-off violations at one point. As funny as that is, and I was saying that yesterday, kind of in jest, but it really did make an impact. And I even cashed a live bet. Hawks were down 2-1, and I went in. And I said, "Wow!" I said, "This momentum of this game continues. Maybe the Hawks could get something rolling." Andre Burakovsky ties it up early in the third period, and I was able to cash with that as well. So there are instances and cases, they're very, very rare, of course, but moments like last night can happen where something else is going on and it kind of interrupts the flow of the actual game for at least a period of time.
Oh, it was a great observation, and that was an entertaining game. And that was a much better effort from Chicago, even though, again, they only got the point. Like I said, I thought Winnipeg, they kind of took a step back, in that game with their effort, and especially their details. I thought it was a lot better last night against Edmonton. And like I said, that was a game that could have went either way at the end. All right, let's turn our attention to Sunday. And we've got 5 games, and the first one is a daytime afternoon start. Actually, the first 2 are afternoon games. We'll begin with Tampa Bay and Utah. We've got Tampa Bay minus 115 road favorite, 6 the total. First thing that stands out is how this is a really good-looking spot here for Utah. They've been off now since Tuesday, and it's been rare for teams to get this much time off this early in the season. They have not played since Tuesday when they had their win streak snapped in Edmonton. They got off to that 3-0 lead over the Oilers and then 6 unanswered goals for the Utah Mammoth to win that game 6-3. For the Oilers, I should say, to win that game 6-3 over Utah. But, it's a Utah team that's well rested, multiple days off. Like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4 days off, and a team that's 4-0 here at the Delta Center on home ice this season. So they've played well at home. What's been something about Utah is they've only given up 9 goals in their home games this year. They gave up 3 to Colorado, 2 to Boston, 3 to San Jose, 1 to Calgary. They have played pretty good defensive hockey. They won each and every one of those games. Now, Tampa Bay has righted the ship. They've got a Lightning team rolling into town that has won 4 straight games after the rough start to the year, beating Anaheim, Vegas, Nashville, and Dallas in 4 straight games. We'll see how this one plays out. But 2-0 to the over last year in the series history, and home team won both games. Tampa 8-0 against Utah at Amalie Arena in Tampa, but Utah beat them here at the Delta Center 6-4 last season. So I'm going to go Utah money line and full game over. No bifecta, because we've seen some first period unders this season so far with Utah, but full game, it's kind of opened up later in the game. That's been the pattern in past home games for the Mammoth. So I will go Utah minus 105 and also the full game over here. I like this spot for Utah, and I know Tampa's played better. They're playing well. They're on a win streak, but this sets up really nicely for the Mammoth. 4 days off, playing well on home ice. I'll take them here. And they beat Tampa last year at home. So why not? Why can't they do it again? Alex, what do you think here? Tampa Bay, Utah.
I like this draw quite a bit, and that's predicated on, like I said, Tampa Bay is getting back into form, but this is a tricky spot, tricky early start time. Not sure what the crowd's going to be like at Sunday in Utah. Not really necessarily like a Saturday night in Chicago or anything like that. But I think this could be a maybe sleepy kind of a slow game. So like I said, if that first period over, wouldn't be looking at that. I would wait for the over 5.5, maybe even plus money. Looking at that, but I do like this draw. You can get that anywhere plus 340 to plus 360. I got 340 at FanDuel, and of course, we're going with the overtime goal scorer. I've gone with Dylan Gunther before for Utah, but I actually like Clayton Keller at 75 to 1 in this spot. So Clayton Keller to get the overtime goal in this game to go to overtime plus 340, and then we'll look for an in game. Hopefully, try to grab plus money with 5.5.
Yeah, it's been good. I agree. The environment with the crowds in Utah, not that it was pretty good last year, really good at times. I think they've even stepped it up a little bit more
Oh
this
no, it's
year.
been a great crowd, but I'm just saying, on a Sunday, where I mean, for those of you who may not know, Utah being a very religious place,
Oh, I
maybe it's
hear you.
not as
Yeah,
hyped up of a crowd on a
oh, no
Sunday.
doubt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then saying
Yeah,
that.
Brandon Hagel, I do, even though I like Utah in the game, and I always say this, just because I'm on Utah here, money line, it doesn't mean I can't bet Tampa props, and I do like Hagel. Hagel scored in 3 straight games here for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and he's streaky. I mean, you just keep betting him when he gets on a run like that, and that's often what he can do, no question. For Utah, I mean, I'll just throw it out who's red hot right now. We've got 8-game point streak for Nick Schmaltz, 6-game point streak for Dylan Guenther, 5-game point streak for Mikhail Sergachev. On the blue line, who is also facing his former team that traded him away, the Tampa Bay Lightning. So I like Mikhail Sergachev. I'm going to go one step further. Goal prop for him in this game as well for the Utah Mammoth here in this game this afternoon. And what else here? 4-game point streak for Hagel, 4-game point streak for Logan Cooley, and a 4-game point streak for JJ Paterka. A minus 115 actually is the point prop for Paterka for a guy that's on a 4-game point streak. So a lot of streakers as far as consecutive games with a point, I should say, for both of these teams, but especially for the Utah Mammoth. Vejmelka and Vasilevsky is the projected goaltending matchup, but has not been confirmed as of yet. All right, Columbus and the New York Islanders. The Islanders minus 135 home favorites. The total here 6.5 across the board in this one. You know what I've said. It's the Bumper Stumpers play of the day. The great game show here in Canada. It was great. License plates. And it was a great game show. You're not out until you lose 2, is what Al Dubois, the great host of that show, always said. Great Canadian game show. Look it up. There's clips of it all over the place on YouTube. Bumper Stumpers. You're not out until you lose 2, and I'm not out with the New York Islander overs until I lose 2 in a row. That being said, maybe it's going to crash a little bit. A lot of that was Washington, though. Talked about how they've been struggling to score goals throughout the early part of the season. Played a very, very tight, defense structure first style of game so far this season. And Islanders kind of played into that, but the Islanders with that 3-1 win in Washington, like I said, only the second under this year, 9-2 to the over still, but the first game all year that stayed fewer than 6 goals for the New York Islanders. We'll see how this one plays out. Jackets 3-2 win yesterday over the St. Louis Blues. Solid performance from them. Jet Greaves started yesterday, so it's natural to expect Elvis Merzlikins to get the nod here. You would think they'll roll right back to Ilya Sorokin. That was one of Sorokin's better performances in the win on Friday night against Washington for the Islanders, so I would expect him to be in net. Just over 6.5 for me. We'll ride the Islander overs one more time. If they lose again and it stays under again, then maybe we stop riding it. But as I said, not out until we lose 2, not with a run like this. What do you think here, Alex? Jackets, Islanders.
I'm gonna play a 6.5 small and then wait to add a little bit more and try and grab a 6 at a better price. But I do like this over. And like I said, maybe it comes to a halt, but you just got to keep riding it, especially with Columbus and Merzlikins most likely starting. He's been the shakier of the two netminders at times. He's given up soft goals at times, so I could definitely see where this could be a higher scoring affair. Like I said, these are two teams. Islanders are used to playing, earlier starts, no rust or issue with them. Columbus, maybe they start a little bit sluggish. That also helps out the Isles a bit more. So, liking the over, little piece of 6.5. Try and hop up and grab a little bit more at 6.
Yeah, no question. As far as this game, I lean Jackets. I might even dabble in the Blue Jackets a little bit. I know it's back-to-back for them, rest advantage for the Islanders, but I think Jackets are still the better team, quite honestly, and will be long-term, no question about that. And they played well on the road. How about their 4-1 road record this year, the Columbus Blue Jackets? Very impressive. I'm probably going to put a little something on the Jackets here. And I'm going to put a little something on Zach Werenski to score a goal for the Columbus Blue Jackets. 3 straight games the defenseman has found the back of the net for the Columbus Blue Jackets. So Zach Werenski, like I said, has scored in 3 straight games. Marchenko's on a 4-game point streak. Holmstrom, I mentioned Simon Holmstrom, 2-game point streak. Also a sprinkle on his goal prop tonight. Very interested in that. We've talked about Heineman, how he's stepped up with the extra opportunity to be on the top 6. And I'm not going to deviate from it just yet. He had a rough first game in terms of Callum Ritchie his first NHL game with the Islanders. Got into some penalty trouble in that game, but he was up on the top line. I'm going to wait to see if Patrick Waugh keeps him there. Wait till we get closer to that 5 p.m. Eastern puck drop. Wait to see if Patrick Waugh keeps him there. But if he does keep him on that top line with Matt Barzal and Kyle Palmieri, there's certainly still going to be some value here to bet Callum Ritchie. You could have gotten Callum Ritchie plus 900 at BetMGM to score a goal the other night. That's a guy that was playing on the top line. I know he didn't score, but value like that for someone on the top line is always going to be a bet for me. Simple as that. So we'll see if Ritchie maintains that spot on the top line for the New York Islanders here this afternoon. All right, Calgary and Philadelphia. Philadelphia minus 130, home favorites, 5.5 the total. There's a lot of goaltending questions with Philly. Sam Erson's on IR. Dan Vladar started last night against Toronto in the 5-2 loss. Do they go to Vladar on a back-to-back? We'll see. I would think there's a chance simply because of who they're playing, his former team, the Calgary Flames. Does Rick Tocchet roll to Vladar on a back-to-back here? It could be, unfortunately, the other guy. Don't put it off. Fade Kolosov. It actually could be Alexei Kolosov, who, as we know, for the Philadelphia Flyers, has not exactly been at his absolute best in between the pipes here as a member of the Flyers. We look at the numbers he had last year. 3.59 goals against, 867 save percentage, 5-9 record, actually 5-10 if you include an overtime loss. But how do you not? I have to be on the Flyers regardless. I mean, I just think Calgary's in a bad way right now. That loss to Toronto last night was only the second loss of the season at home for the Philadelphia Flyers. They played pretty good hockey here at home all season long. Now, Dustin Wolf's confirmed, and he got pulled yesterday. And there's always that little thought in the back of your mind, well, you're going to get Vezina form Dustin Wolf today. But we haven't seen Vezina form Dustin Wolf all that much this season. And the part of it's been the D in front of him, no question. But with Calgary just in free fall right now, this is a price bet for me. I think this should be closer to minus 150 or minus 160 even on Philadelphia, not minus 130. I think you're getting a discount because A, it's a back-to-back for the Flyers, and B, because of the question marks in net. So I'm taking Philly at this price. It's a price play. What do you think here, Alex? Flames, Flyers?
Yeah, I'm going to go with that flat team total over 3 at MGM with the Flyers. And then maybe wait. Maybe Calgary gets lucky and gets a goal early, and then I can try to get Flyers at plus money. I get a little greedy with this one. But I do like that team total over. But like I said, this is a Flyers spot. My bargain bin special comes from the Flyers today. And so, yeah, this is definitely, like I said, we have not seen Vezina Wolf in the least bit, but the 6 red traffic cones in front of him haven't helped out much either.
No, it's shared blame. You can't put this all on Dustin Wolf. No. You can't. This is a pretty bad defense in front of him. I'd take I would take Rasmus Anderson on my team. When he plays well, I'd probably take Uyghur too. But after that, I wouldn't take anybody on this Flame Blue line. Not even close. Like, I think they got Uyghur, they got Anderson, and they've got a bunch of third-pair defensemen, the rest of the blue line right now for the Calgary Flames. And that's simply not going to get the job done when it's all said and done. So, like I said, I think Philly's pretty cheap there. Even if it's Kolosov, I'll take in net for the Flyers. I'll take my chances with Philadelphia in that game. Prop-wise, I do want to mention point streaks for Kadri, Huberdeau, Farabee, and Zegras is red hot. It's hard not to back him. Travis Konechny, people saying he's been able to score goals before multiple times against the Calgary Flames, so maybe you'd look in that direction. I got to admit, I do have to bet Morgan Frost. Even though I'm on Philly, I have to bet Morgan Frost here against going back to Philadelphia here as a member of the Calgary Flames, playing on that top line. Same thing with Farabee. If you buy into the former player angle, no question you could look in that direction for sure with Farabee and Frost, the 2 former Flyers who are going to be making the trip back to Philly now as a member of the Calgary Flames. All right, next up, we've got Detroit and San Jose. Detroit minus 190, road favorite, 6.5 the total. Over by Fecta. Look at this series history here with Detroit, San Jose. Over. One after another, after another, after another. You're going to have Askarov in net here this afternoon, tonight, you would think, for the Sharks back-to-back with Nedeljkovic playing yesterday. I think it's safe to say Nedeljkovic probably earned himself a leg up over Askarov with his performance in the win against Colorado yesterday. We have John Gibson projected but not confirmed yet for the Detroit Red Wings. But again, going back to this Red Wings-Sharks history, we've had 4 straight overs, 7-3 to the over the last 10 meetings. Detroit is on a 5-game over streak. 5 straight Red Wings games have gone over. 3 of the last 4 for San Jose have gone over the total. So everything screams over. So watch it be 3-2. I'm kidding. I don't think it will be. But, over by Fecta for me, Detroit and San Jose. I lean Sharks again. Sharks are playing some better hockey. I like what I'm seeing from them right now. They're playing feisty right now, and that's not a team I'm looking to lay minus 190 against. Again, I don't know if I will bet San Jose, but at the current price that you're seeing, Sharks are pass for me. Alex, what do you think here? Red Wings, Sharks.
I like Detroit early in this one. I like the first period. Puck line, I grabbed plus 140, laying the half a goal. And I would try to look for a live over in this game. 6.5 is a little steep, like I said, even though we've had the over history, but would like to try to get 6. It's one where I'll lay $1.25 or even $1.30 to get 6 as opposed to 6.5. So just want to see where the pace goes early in this contest. But I do like Detroit to get a lead after 20, and I'll be looking to try and grab a over sometime in game.
4-game goal streak for Alex DeBrincat. You got to ride the hot hand that is Phil Kurashev. How do you not? I mean, my goodness, he's been absolutely phenomenal. 2 goals, the game winner yesterday, and still getting, good prices for him to find the back of the net, almost plus 400. What else do we have as far as point streaks here? Celebrini, 7-game point streak for him. The aforementioned Phil Kurashev, 4-game point streak. Tyler Toffoli, the veteran for the San Jose Sharks, on a 4-game point streak. And we have 3-game streaks as far as points for Raymond Wenberg and Mo Seider on the blue line as well. So definitely, like I said, and Eklund 3 goals in 4 games versus Detroit. So definitely a situation where he is certainly playing well and has done well in the past. Oh, sorry, it was Askarov yesterday. Yeah, I screwed that up. Askarov got the start yesterday against Colorado in that 3-2 win. So it will be Nedeljkovic. Here I am giving Nedeljkovic credit. It was Askarov yesterday in net for the San Jose Sharks in that game. That's why it was, this is the guy they hope that is their goalie of the future. And he certainly played like it yesterday. So that means it will be Alex Nedeljkovic here. Saving him for Detroit. Detroit is one of Nedeljkovic's former teams. So now it kind of makes sense the way Ryan Warsofsky went about it. So, it is going to be obviously Nedeljkovic here today. John Gibson is projected. We don't have that confirmed as of yet. And for San Jose, they still have a couple injuries on the blue line. Nothing really changing there as far as that goes. But still, it's looking like as far as Liljegren, Leddy still could be missing in action for them. All right, our final game for this Sunday card. This could be one of the better games of the day, quite honestly. New Jersey and Anaheim. We've got New Jersey minus 125, road favorites, 6.5 the total in this game. Sheldon Keefe got after his guys, got after his team following the loss to San Jose, and they responded in kind with a much better team effort, team performance. 4-1 victory over the LA Kings last night. We'll see if they can keep it rolling here. It is a back-to-back situation here for the New Jersey Devils. That being said, the LA Anaheim back-to-back, there's no air travel. You usually stay in the same hotel for the 2-game road trip. And then, of course, it's just a bus ride down the freeway to get to Anaheim. So not the most, not the worst, not even close to the worst back-to-back you can imagine, that's for sure. But New Jersey getting the 4-1 win. Anaheim, I give Anaheim credit. I mean, after the long 5-game road trip, 5-2 win against the Detroit Red Wings on Friday night, Lukas Dostal got the better. Student got the better of the teacher in that game. It was a great performance from Lukas Dostal in that one against the Detroit Red Wings. See if he can keep the ball rolling here. I don't know. I have not seen goalie confirmations yet. And one thing about Joel Quenneville, he's been giving Dostal the net quite a bit, and you like to see it because right now there is a whole continent of a gap right now between Dostal and Peter Mrazek for the Anaheim Ducks. So I don't blame Coach Q for trying to get Dostal in there as much as possible. Obviously, Markstrom was splendid, absolutely tremendous last night in the victory for the New Jersey Devils. But again, this is a guy that's coming back off of injury. It's a guy they're going to be careful with. And I think with him making 43 saves last night, probably a good chance we see Jake Allen back in net for the New Jersey Devils tonight. Allen was rolling until he met the San Jose Sharks in his last game, and they got to him early, and it was probably one of the worst performances of the season for Allen. Now, again, his blue line was not great, and we've said this about New Jersey. The blue line without Mark Pesce is Brett Pesce, I should say, is certainly much weaker. But like I said, I'm waiting on goalie confirmations. I know exactly what I'm doing here in this game, Alex. If it's Dostal, I'm probably betting the Quackers as a home dog because I think that's a good price with them. Quack, quack, plus 105. But if it's Mrazek, I'm pivoting to either over by Fekta, New Jersey team total over, or both. That's exactly where I'm going. This is definitely a game that, for me, from a betting perspective, it is goalie dependent on the Anaheim side. Alex, what do you think here? Devils, Ducks?
Yeah, same here. I would be leaning toward the draw if it's Dostal, but yeah, like I said, it would be looking more toward Devils team total and overs. If it's Mrazek, Mrazek's form just hasn't simply been nearly as good as Dostal's, and like I said, if it's an Allen Dostal combination, I definitely like the draw. So like I said, this is one where you want to check Patreon and see what we have finalized. As of right now, it's nothing until we get confirmations from both ends.
Yeah, the draw could be live here. I definitely do not mind the draw look at all. Yeah, Troy Terry. Troy Terry obviously is, I think definitely worth a look here as far as this game goes. He got back on the board with that elevation in the lineup in the last game against Detroit. Dawson Mercer, you got to ride the hot hand that is the Newfoundlander. I've mentioned Dawson Mercer now multiple games in a row for the Devils, and he is starting to heat up again. He can be streaky. He scored now in 3 straight games. Uncle Leo Carlson, 2 games in a row with a goal for him. So those are definitely props that I've got interest in. And we have 6-game point streak for Troy Terry, 5-game point streaks for Cutter Gauthier and Leo Carlson, and a 3-game point streak, as I mentioned, for Dawson Mercer. So those are the props I'm interested in. Again, check Patreon, okay? Patreon.com/Ice Guys. We'll promote it in full in a couple minutes, but this is why we've got it. This is why we've got the betting card for our members, $10 per month, because there's going to be games like a New Jersey Anaheim where we're waiting on goalie confirmations. We're waiting on lineup information before locking in our bets. So, again, we will have our plays for that game if we have any. Most likely I'll have something on that game because there's not many games I pass on, as you guys know. I'll probably have something later on in the day. So again, make sure you check out and subscribe to Patreon if you haven't already. WizardSportsPicks.com. Check out the website. Again, I'm there. Alex is there. Matt Robinson. Great roster of handicappers. I'm impressed with the group we have and the results that they have had so far. And Sundays, I will be doing a Beyond the Lines video for the Wizard Sports Picks YouTube channel. Make sure you check it out. I did the first edition of that today. So just breaking down the NFL card for today. 4 picks I gave out on the video, so make sure you check that out. WizardSportsPicks.com. It's been a great run on the site for me personally. 33-21 all sports streak, 11-2 NHL streak.
Nice.
It's been a great week in the NHL there, 25-16 NFL and college football streak. So check out the premium picks at wizardsportspicks.com, patreon.com/Ice Guys, $10 a month, as I mentioned. Goalie charts, totals charts, of course, bonus content. We will announce the date for the November Patreon exclusive live betcast later this week, and also the regular betcast, which will be free for all. We'll do 2 betcasts in November, one for everybody, one Patreon exclusive one as well. So now's the time to get on board. The response has been off the charts. We can't thank you enough. Daily betting cards, sides, totals, player props posted each and every single day on the Patreon page. Get on board. Your subscription goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping this great content going long term. Check it out. $10 per month. Patreon.com/Ice Guys.
And also check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. Expires at midnight tonight. 20% off of all items in the store. We've got some new items in the store as well, some new designs. So you definitely want to check that out. Hit the redeem button at the top of the page. Add your items to checkout, and 20% will be taken out immediately at the checkout. That ends at midnight Eastern. That's over at iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
There we go. Good stuff indeed. And Aaron, congratulations. 40 units on in the Twitter picks for Aaron is
Very
what
nice.
I think he's referring to.
Yeah.
But congratulations. Yeah, it's been a slow start. That first week was up and down like a teeter-totter. But boy, oh boy, the last week or two has been really strong, firmly in profit for the season overall. So very happy with where things are at. After a subpar Friday, it was a better yesterday, thanks to especially the best bets hitting. So, like I said, very happy with where things are at as far as NHL betting results are concerned. All right, we got bargain bin special of the night and best bet coming up in just a moment, right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
Kings and queens shop.
Check out all our sponsors, including our brand new smoke sponsor, Royal Cannabis, at royalcannabisshop.com and use and get 20% off using the promo code Ice Guys. All right, bargain bin special of the night. We got 5 games on the menu for Sunday. Alex, where are you going for bargain bin special?
Let's head on out to Philly. You got the Flyers taking on the Calgary Flames. And I'm looking at a guy who's moving up to the top line. His whole group's moving to the top line. It's Bobby Brink. You get him anytime goal scorer, plus 360 is the best price available. I see that over at FanDuel. It's not as big of a bargain bin as we've been cashing with some of our recent hits, but plus 360 is fair enough. Bobby Brink to get a goal anytime for the Philadelphia Flyers. That's my Sunday bargain bin special.
All right, there you go. I like it. Bobby Brink for the Philadelphia Flyers. Always like those situations when you are moving up the lineup, and certainly he is doing that here tonight. So Bobby Brink, Philadelphia, to score a goal for Alex B. Smith with his bargain bin special of the night. My bargain bin special of the night, I hope on this one I'm not a day late and a dollar short with Mr. Kurashev, but we're going to take a shot. Plus 400 is out there still in some spots with Philip Kurashev of the San Jose Sharks. Let's ride the hot hand. He's been brilliant these last few games. Philip Kurashev, San Jose, plus 400 for my bargain bin special of the night. All right, best bets. Alex, what do you like for best bet?
Let's hope he can wait until the second period to get that goal, because I like the Detroit Red Wings to win the first period via the puck line. I'm laying half a goal at plus 140 for Red Wings to get the lead after 20 minutes on San Jose. That is my Sunday best bet.
All right, there we go. My best bet, it's from that same game, but obviously not that same bet. Detroit, San Jose, over 6.5. We're just going to really strong series history of overs with the Red Wings and the Sharks. 4 straight, 7 of the last 10. Detroit alone is on a 5 consecutive game over the total streak entering tonight's action. And I think we will see goals once again between them here tonight in the Shark Tank. So we will go with Detroit, San Jose, over 6.5, minus 115. For my best bet, following a 2-0 sweep yesterday with best bets for Saturday. See if we can keep it rolling here tonight. All right, shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. Tomorrow, show start time to be determined. We'll keep you updated. I'll be in the YouTube chat and give you just an update. It'll be 3:30 p.m. Eastern, right around that time that we start the show, right after I get done the college football Hitting the Books show with Connor Mack tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. And we'll be with you to break down the Monday card. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Tuesday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, delayed start Monday, and Saturday, Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form. on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we are back with you Monday for another edition of the Ice Guys.